Greetings to all. Good evening to everybody, and a very warm welcome to everyone on behalf of Nirul Gymkhana Managing Committee and Trustees. This is the third seminar, which is a series which it is a brainchild of Dhananjay ji and Kiran, so to introduce celebrity athletes to Nirul Gymkhana and all the other people who can take advantage of these seminars. A very big applause for Dhananjay ji and Kiran ji for this. And our office staff of Nirul Gymkhana also worked hard to make this a reality. This is in the first seminar we had Anand Menzies, Olympian athlete, and the second one was Mr. Swaminathan, basketball player, international basketball player, and now Shubham Vanmali, Chhatrapati Shivaji awardee, is not new to Gymkhana people. I think everybody knows about him, and he started his swimming in Nirul Gymkhana under this mission 2010. I think first he started in 2002, if I am right. So in 2013, he had an idea that he will go into international open water sea swim. And then he worked very hard on that. And 2014, he swam across English Channel. And in the same year, he swam to the Rock of Gibraltar also. So it has been a long journey. And 2015, he swam Catalina Channel in Ireland. And then he participated in a Grand Dublin swim also. 2017, he swam Manhattan Island through and through, which is about 50 kilometers. And it is not a small thing. He has been into adventure. I mean, swimming in English Channel in sub-zero temperatures and in Catalina Channel is a real challenge. I mean, it takes a real something in you, because when you start your swim and when you end your swim, maybe you lose about 5 to 7 kgs of weight also. So it is not easy. It is a real adventure. So Mr. Shibu and Shubham will take you onto this adventurous trip. And then he swam in 2018, he swam Mount Magnum Island swim. This is in San Francisco. There is a prison in the middle of San Francisco Bay, and they thought that people cannot escape from there. But you see, if a swimmer is like Shubham, I think they have not thought that there will be some people who will swim all throughout the island. I mean, not just from one shore to the other. Then he also swam Parentine Island International Race, which is held in Malaysia, and he came fourth. He got fourth position. And he swam that in 4 hours 17 minutes. He received Shiv Chhatrapati Award in 2019, and that has been a great momentous and proud moment for our Gymkhana, Shubham, his parents, and all the team who has worked with him. So this is not all about him. He has studied in Ryan International School, and then in 2018 he completed his BMS from Stirling College. Now he is into production, into digital media. He is producing ad films, and we wish him a great success in future, because he's too young at the moment. He's maybe 24. Whole career is in front of him, and I wish and pray that he will do great, wonderful things in future. This is just a beginning, and now I introduce you to the host, Mr. Shibu Varghese. He is a fitness freak, plays football, and you can see him. He's so trim and fit. He has been a gold medalist, 4 times gold medalist, state gold medalist in Taekwondo. So give them a big round of applause, everybody. It is great. And now you go on to the journey with Shubham, and the host Shibu Varghese will take you along. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your introduction.
Thank you, Harsharan ji.
Yeah. And before we continue with this, I would like to, because so many participants, the viewers are there coming up now. So it's very difficult to, control the muting. So we would like to request everyone, please mute your audio. So after the webinar, we will be having a questionnaire where you can ask the questions. The reason why I'm telling you to share with you so that we can have a very, the smooth webinar we can have. Thank you so much. And this evening, I take immense pleasure to introduce a guest of honor, a young, dynamic, 24 years old, and the achievement I would like to say, it takes some more time, but I would like to say something about this gentleman who swam English Channel for 31-kilometer distance. He has swam, and from for the Strait of Gibraltar, and he have swam for the 18-kilometer, and the Catalina, he has Catalina Channel, he has swam for 31-kilometer, and he's also honored by the World Open Water Swimming Association. And English Channel, as I said, that this itself is a big thing. And also he has swam Dharamtar Alibag to Gate of India at the distance of a 33-kilometer. Could you please, uphold your hands together and welcome Shubham Dhananjay Vanmali. Shubham.
Hi, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, Shubham.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Shubham, it's so good. We are there to know what was the journey, and there's so many people are there who want to know about your journey.
I would be happy to share. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Shubham, as we're going to go ahead, my first question is that, what was the age when you started swimming? And you had an option also, cricket and football, but why you went for the swimming?
So my start was basically, I started swimming because I had asthma. And there is some sort of disturbance.
This will come, Shubham, because people are joining to see you.
Yeah.
So we're trying a level best to,
Yeah.
But
I request everyone to please mute your audio.
तो पंजाबी कौन है भाई? वो जाड़ी देख, वो white हो गया है. अबे एक तो अंधा है. चश्मा. अबे अंजलि मिश्रा.
Smita, could you please mute your audio, please? Shubham, the thing is people are joining now.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So let's continue with this. So please, over to you.
Yeah. So I started swimming because, so basically I had asthma, and my parents were told that he should go into swimming just to strengthen his lungs and get more fit and everything. And that's how my swimming journey actually began. And it was something like every weekend we used to go to BPCL, and it used to be like a picnic on the weekends, and we used to have fun. I used to swim, and that was a very casual thing. And my only motivation back in the day was the omelette pav which we get over there.
Okay.
Which was amazing. Yeah, I still remember till date, and every time I go there, I make sure that I have that omelette pav in the canteen.
Okay.
And yeah, so that was where I casually started swimming. And like Harsharan sir said, in 2002, they started with the Mission 2010. And so this mission was where Gymkhana kind of adopted athletes to prepare them for Mission 2010, which was the Delhi Commonwealth Games. And I was really young when I went for the test. And actually, I was in fact selected for football. And but the team was already like kids were grown up in football. The team was already set, and I wasn't fitting anywhere. And then I had to shift from football to swimming, and that's where the swimming journey started, and where I really understood what swimming competitive is. And yeah, that's how my swimming journey started from Gymkhana. To be honest, yeah.
Okay, and Shubham, generally, as you said just now, like you are asthmatic. So generally,
Yeah.
Every parent have a, curiosity to say that, like, why should I send my child for the swimming? Because swimming need a good lungs.
Right, right.
And I think after swimming, as you said just now, like you become better.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Swimming doesn't need good lungs. It
Okay.
makes your lung better, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
You cannot be a born athlete. You have to basically slowly, gradually build that up.
Okay. Shubham, like as you said, this swimming. So it was just a routine, like you want to go for the swimming, or you were inspired by seeing somebody. Like how it was?
So swimming basically intrigued me because if you think of swimming, it's a sport where you are basically all by yourself. You can't hear anybody. You can't talk to anybody while swimming. So I really liked it. And as I was young while growing up, after the entire day, swimming was my kind of a getaway. It was kind of a stress buster for me. It was something that helped me with everything, with all my problems, with everything. And slowly it became my necessity in my life. Like every day I have to swim, and that was it. And my father also believed, like my father is a national volleyball player and my mother is a national kabaddi player. And so having the family background, they always believed that a sports can build a personality and it can help an athlete in a lot of ways. And so the main motive of my parents for sending me to swimming was for me to be healthy, and that was it. And that's how my swimming.
Okay. Shubham, swimming in the swimming pool, it's totally different ball of game. And when you decided to go to open sea swimming, I think that is very challenging. Like, what inspired you to go to open, swimming like that?
So the first open water swim I ever did was in Ratnagiri, and before that, as I was getting better, like as the distance was getting longer, I was naturally getting better at it. So we could you could say like when I was better naturally than other swimmers than the competitor. So as it is, I was a distance swimmer in the pool. I used to swim 1500 and 800 meters. So I had that thing in me that I want to try something longer than this. And then that's when we went for the Ratnagiri swim, which was around 6 kilometers. And I still remember that day where I was little scared because there were like 60-70 swimmers to start the swim, and between that, and it was my first time experience, and everybody is rushing on and everybody's pulling each other at the start because it's just a small passage for the swim to start. And I was really scared while entering because I'm not the one who would like be fighting around and going through. So I let the crowd pass by, and I later on started my event. And then as I started to swim and as I pulled away from the crowd, I started to enjoy it. I started to understand what this is. I started to feel the water because it was completely different than the swimming pool. It was endless. I had been doing tumble turns up and forth and again, but this was something completely endless, and this was something in the nature. And I was able to feel that adrenaline and feel that it was a completely different experience. And I think I was sixth in my first race.
Okay.
And that really motivated me, and that's how I was intrigued towards it. And yeah.
That's great. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell we are talking to Shubham Dhananjay Vanmali, who's also a Shiv Chhatrapati Awardee. But before we continue this journey of webinar, due respect of Shubham's the feeling and the affection, but what you see today, he was not like that. Shubham, with your respect, I would like to say that Shubham was a dyslexia child and dysgraphia, you can say that, with a learning disability. And Shubham, today what you are and how you started, I think there's a huge gap between that. And could you just please highlight something for our audience today?
Yeah, so as I was growing up, I was a kid who was not good at a lot of things. I was not good at sports. I was not good at studies. I was not good at a lot of things. And there was often this kind of confusion for me also, because at a certain point, it kind of becomes an obvious for a kid when he's kind of pulled away from the crowd and he starts seeing the difference between him and other kids. And back then there was not much of awareness about mental health and learning disability at all around. And when Tare Zameen Par came out, I think it was around when I was in 8th standard, and then my parents saw the movie and then they realized, like, okay, the symptoms and the things which the mistakes which Ishan Awasthi is doing is kind of similar to what Shubham does, and everything started to make sense for them. And then they did a test at Sion Hospital, and then we came to know that I had dyslexia and dysgraphia. And after that, after coming to know, they were very subtle about it, very subtle about letting me know that thing, like discovering it, and then telling me that what it is and something like that. And when started to work on it, we started to go to counseling, we started to go to Dr. Natkani at IPH, and they did a constant counseling, and we had a plan of action in front of us, and we started to work on that plan of action. And it was a turning point for me at that point, because from a kid who was receiving throughout 37-38%,
मम्मी देखो क्या चालू है, ये क्या बोल रहा है?
Hello.
आवाज आ रही है मेरे को.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
So we are trying to control it.
Yeah. So where was I? I kind of forgot. Yeah.
Like you become better.
Yes. So we started to like, we had the problem in front of us. We knew what it was. We started to work on it, and we had a plan of action in front of us. And while we were working on it, all of a sudden it was a turning point for me. And from a kid who was always being pushed throughout his academics, and a kid who was not really great at sports also, suddenly got from 37% to 72% in his 10th standard.
Awesome. 32 to 72%.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And also simultaneously I got my first medal, and that was like after 4-5 years of continuous 4-5 years of swimming, and that was my first medal where I actually qualified from district to zonal. And yeah, that would be a message for a lot of parents, that they try to see the results in a year or two, but if the swimmer or the athlete doesn't perform, his sport has been changed. But that's not the case. You have to be very patient with your child, and my parents did a good job at that.
And I think, Shubham, as rightly said, even though your parents came to know about the learning disability, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share with everyone who's a parent today. And if your child is facing some problem, what they need is the support. And Shubham, I would like to appreciate your parents, who stood with you. And I think in all your preparation, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, whether it's financial, they stood with you. And could you please try to, explain, journey, the contribution of your parents in your life?
Right. Yeah. It was like the credit goes to them completely. Like I said this in one of our, I think it was in the book launch, that every athlete is a sculpture, and the parents are the real artist sculpting the sculpture. So yeah, the credit goes to them.
And awesome, awesome. And if I'm not wrong, your mom and dad also a sports person,
Yes, 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 yes.
right?
Them,
Okay.
yeah.
Before I going to continue with this, I would like to show Shubham is also a Shiv Chhatrapati Award winner, and I'd like to share this. Shubham, you can see this.
Yes, 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 I can.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a honor for me to present this clip where Shubham is accepting that Shiv Chhatrapati Award. Shubham, we are so proud of you, and you made us pride. You can say that.
Thank you.
And also a moment Shubham with his parents. That is Shubham's mom and dad. And I understand that for Manmali family, it is a proud moment where Shubham and proudly he's holding that certificates and the award. Shubham, thank you so much for this. Shubham, like going further, many people knows about that. You have swam English Channel and Manhattan Swim and Gibraltar and Catalina Channel also. You have finished up. Could you please just highlight something on that? How was your journey?
Yeah. Every swim had its own challenges, and every swim had something different about it. And the challenges differs as the swim as we go around the globe and do different swims. For example, English Channel is a swim which is really cold, and it can send your body into hypothermia. And that's for a kid who's from a tropical country and from Mumbai especially. The only cold water I experienced in my life till then was the cold water in my shower without the geyser.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the only cold water I ever experienced before the English Channel.
So English Channel, that means you're talking about you need to swim in the cold water?
Yes, somewhere around 12 degrees Celsius.
And hypothermia is nothing but it's about the body temperature you're talking about?
Yes. It's where the body temperature drops and your body basically stops reacting to anything.
So,
yeah.
Shubham, did you ever felt a life threat while swimming in the middle of the sea?
Yes. It has happened multiple times. Like I have been in hypothermia during one of the swims where I went completely unconscious towards the end of the swim, and I was being rescued. And then there was a point where I was swimming in Hawaii where my right shoulder completely stopped working because of an injury, and my leg was bleeding. And as we know, Hawaii has a lot of tiger sharks. So yes, and it was a night swim where people could barely see me, and I just had a glow stick, and there was a boat next to me, and the main boat which was further away from me, but the kayak was barely able to see me, and I was swimming with one arm, so I was being drifted apart. So that was one incident. And then I have faced sea creatures or sea animals, if you can say that. Like I was training in San Francisco. This is an instant where before getting in the water in the changing room at the bay, we were just discussing and we were just talking, and then suddenly a guy walks in, and he's limping, and he has a stick with him while walking. And then he started to tell that how in the same water that I was about to swim 4 hours, a sea lion bit him and took a chunk of his hamstring away. And yes, that was a scary instance. And then I just thought that, okay, let's forget about it. I was scared, and I got in the water, and I think I swam 45 minutes in the water, and I was just training, and I was very close to the open, like I was in the open water, but there is a small opening close to the beach, and I was near the opening, and then you suddenly sense something is around you. You sense there's someone around you or something is around you. And I just look up, I see around, there were not many swimmers that day because the clouds, the weather was little gloomy. And so as there was no sun out, the swimmers didn't come out. And because the water is already cold in San Francisco. So I was alone that day in the water. And suddenly I look around, there was not any swimmer or anything around me. Then I again started to swim. And again, I felt something. I look around. I just waited for a second or two. And suddenly a head pops out. Right in front of me. and it was a seal. It was a seal, and then the same seal which bit the guy. I'm not sure if it's the same seal or what. One head pops out, and then I'm scared. And then on my left, there's another head that pops out, and I am now like, okay, now what am I supposed to do? And then on my right, there's another head that pops up. So there were three seals looking at me, and I slowly started to float around and slowly go away from them and sprinted my way out of the water.
Okay, okay. Shubham, did you ever, seen whale fish and all things, these kind of a things, while swimming?
Yeah, so when I swim, I personally am just swimming. My job is to just swim, and I am looking at the port and just swimming straight, and then all the scenes and all the views. it's-
Shubham, carry on, carry
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. All the views and all are enjoyed by the people on the boat, the crew members.
Okay.
So yes, so like an instance in Catalina where I was swimming, on my left there was a boat, my main pilot boat. I was swimming on the right, and on the left side of the boat, there around 100 meters from the boat, there was a blue whale.
Okay.
Yes, and it was way bigger than the boat, and it was just playing around. Yeah.
Wow. Shubham, one thing, as you said in the early of this webinar, that, omelette pav really inspired you to go to the swimming.
Right. Yes, 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 yes.
And today, because of that omelette pav, that, when you're hungry, you feel hungry and you eat. And today you have achieved, such a, you're on a different level today altogether. I would like to take, this moments and to tell our audience also, what was your, experience from Dharamtala to, Dharamtar to Gate of India?
Yeah. So, Dharamtar to Gateway of India, we decided to do because first of all, it's one of the legendary swims that any
Okay.
Indian swimmer who attempts, any legendary Indian swimmer who has attempted.
How many kilometer? How many kilometer was that?
It's around 33 kilometers.
33 kilometers.
Yeah. And any swimmer from, let it be like Anita Sood ma'am or Tarana Chenoy sir, anybody who has swam the English Channel has swum the Dharamtar to Gateway. So it's one of the legendary swims, and it's kind of it's like a similar distance, and it becomes like a practice session for an open water swimmer. And my training for this swim was something like, I was swimming in a swimming pool. I started to swim at 10 p.m. with the lights off, and I was swimming in the circle. I was not going from wall to wall, and I was doing that till morning 6 a.m. continuous.
10 to 6 a.m.
Yes, yes.
Appreciate you. Wow.
And then on the day of the swim, I was very excited, and I was very eager to get in the water. And the swim started around 3 a.m. near the Ispark jetty, and we started the swim, and I was blazing. I was going really fast, and I was going so fast that I was under the record pace, and it was like expected, I will be making the record, which wasn't broken for like 15 years.
Okay.
And yes, and suddenly at a point when the daylight came out around 2 hours 30 minutes, I was very close to the halfway mark. And as the light came out, we had two boats with us. One boat was a big boat, one boat was a small boat. The big boat had a navigation system on it, and they decided to go away and get some breakfast for the people on the boat and for the crew members. And they left, and suddenly it started to become foggy. As soon as the boat left, the climate became very foggy. And as we know, the Dharamtar to Gateway swim is somewhere near Alibag to Gateway. Yeah, so as it goes from the coast, so the fishermen actually know how the ways, and these are the fisher boats, and they have been doing this for years, but they have never experienced the fog in January, and and that to this kind of thick fog. And since it was not having a navigation, we started to drift apart, and we started to go in the wrong direction and completely opposite direction of the gateway, and we ended up reaching somewhere around the refinery, the ONGC refinery. and that's when we realized that we have lost our way because the direction was wrong. And then the boat managed to find us, and that day it started to rain also all of a sudden. In January it was raining,
Okay.
and yeah, everybody was kind of stressed out on the boat. And as a swimmer, I always tell this to swimmers and their crew members that if you are on the boat, never show panic, because a swimmer senses it within seconds.
Okay.
Because the senses are so elevated for after swimming for so many hours, and it becomes kind of a meditation state. Your body is kind of in a meditation state where you're not talking to anybody and you're just doing one thing again and again, again and again. You're just swimming. So the senses kind of elevate, and then you just realize what's going on the boat. And I kind of sensed it that the boat, the environment was little, everybody was panicking, and they were not showing to me. Yeah, they were not showing to me. And then suddenly the fog started to fall, like settle down. The another boat which went to get food found us, and we managed to find our way back. And in 8 hours, my first ultra long distance swim was completed.
Okay. I would like to, from the audience, can I request Shreya More to please mute your audio, please? Shreya More to please mute your audio. Thank you so much. Shubham, like, you had a wonderful experience with Gibraltar also. And, and you're sharing some, some of the experience there. I mean, as the audience are listening to you, could you please just, and Catalina also, Channel, was there something big challenges you also faced over there?
Right.
Just a few highlights on that.
Definitely. So the state of Gibraltar, the story of the state of Gibraltar is something like, I swam the English Channel on 4th of August. And if I'm not wrong, I was scheduled to swim Strait of Gibraltar around 24th or 20th, somewhere around that time. So my body could recover and I would be fit enough to swim the Gibraltar again. But what happened was my mom, dad contacted the Gibraltar Swimming Association's president, Rafael, and he said that you have to come before 15th of August because the weather is getting turbulent. I think there was some cyclone or something coming. And the main thing about Gibraltar, swimming the Gibraltar, like I said earlier, that every swim has a different struggles or different challenges. So the thing with Gibraltar is it can get really windy. And the Gibraltar starts from Tarifa. And Tarifa is a surfing capital of Spain. Windsurfing capital of Spain.
Okay.
So the winds are really strong over there. And such things keep happening. So it's very difficult to find a good weather in Gibraltar because as the wind picks up, the waves pick up and it gets difficult to swim. So we decided to check our visas, and then we realized that our visa is starting from 14th of August. And how are we supposed to go before that? And what we did was we took a chance. We flew on 14th of August. We had no hotel reservations, nothing. Only thing in our mind was the swim. And we traveled all the way from my house to the airport, was somewhere around 10 hours, close to that. And to the Malaga airport, the Spain airport. And when we reached there, the president of the association said that give the phone to the cab driver. We gave the phone to the cab driver. He gave him the location, and he drove us straight to the docks where the boats were parked. And then we reached there. The president of the association comes. He takes our bags, puts it on the boat, and he goes like, "You have to start swimming now because weather will be going bad any moment."
So you not got any rest?
No rest, no food, nothing.
Straight from airport to the sea, you can say that way.
Yes, exactly. And we already had pre-planned this swim to be one of the like an Asian record, to be the fastest Asian to do this swim. And we had done this planning and we were all set for this. But all of a sudden, I was very furious because when we think of doing something big, we always imagine it to be a perfect moment. We always imagine it to be, everything needs to be on point. But that's not what always happens. So you have to adjust and you have to get like deal with all the challenges. And so I was taught a very beautiful thing in my counseling sessions with Shubhangi ma'am, that use your anger in a constructive way rather than destructive way.
That's a good point.
So yeah, so for example, she gave me a very beautiful example of somebody like Zinedine Zidane, that he used his anger in a destructive way and gave a headbutt, and his team lost. And then she gave another example of Yuvraj Singh, who was been sledged by the bowler or somebody, and then he went on to do six sixes, which was a tremendous thing to watch. And that was there in my mind, and I was practicing that for the longest time, how to channelize my anger into constructive way. And that's what I did. I just got on with my suit, I greased up myself, got on the boat, and then we started the swim. And after that, it was like head down and low looking here and there. I got my first feed at the first hour, then I got my second feed at the second hour. And every time I should have feed, I should throw the bottle in the boat, and I should just put my head down and swim like a madman. And around 3 hours in, and I was wondering that where is my third hour feed? And I am just confused at this point. Like, because you tend to understand that when an hour is passed by,
Correct.
after like swimming for so many years, you understand when the time is gone. And I was like, I think 3 hours has gone, and I just wait. And then I asked my dad, like, where is my feed? And then he's like, no feed. There's a finishing line over there. You're very close to the Asian record, and don't waste your time in feed. Just keep swimming. And then I was like, okay. I just put my head down and I finished the swim, and it was the Asian record.
Wow. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Shubham, at times, when I see your records and all thing, you swam for 8 hours, 12 hours and all thing. So, I mean, we don't, as viewers, we would like to know, like, what is the feed you all take? Is it you drink something in the middle of that? What is that actually?
So for this, my coach and my dietitian really puts the brains behind what I eat or what I drink. And it's all their brains which goes behind this. And so basically it's usually something, first of all, your body needs to be knowing what you're having. So you have to practice that feed for longer time so that your body adjusts to it. And usually it's a starch product. It's a carbohydrated drink,
Okay.
which gives your body the enough calorie, because you literally lose 2-3 kilos just like that in these swims. And so you need to consume as many calories as possible. And other than that, we have hot chocolate, because the water is really cold, and the hot chocolate actually gives you that taste also, because the saltiness, and it gives you a good feeling, because feeling good is really important during this swim, because it can play it can play a lot of mind games.
Wow.
During the such swims. And we use something like a mouthwash to gargle my mouth on and off, because the saltiness in the water creates a lot of irritation in the mouth. And after a certain point, it all becomes numb and it starts swelling up.
Okay.
So we use mouthwash very often during the swim.
So when you take this feed, so you can go to the boat, or how is it like? You can touch the boat, or how's any rules and regulation for that?
Yes, so we are not allowed to touch the boat at all.
Okay.
Yeah, touching a boat goes to a disqualification, and for the most of the associations.
Okay.
And what I do is, or most of the swimmers do, is they get a feed from the boat. Usually it's on the stick, or a bottle is been tied up with a rope, and they throw the bottle to us. I just grab it, I drink it, and then I just leave it, and they pull the bottle back. And this has to be done around within 20 to 30 seconds. And if it's any longer, then that would create a problem, because the water will drift you away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one who have joined just now, and this is my privilege to, in our midst today, Shubham Dhananjay Vanmali, who's also an international open sea champion, and who have swam Manhattan Swing and Gibraltar and the Catalina channels and all thing, and also a Shiv Chhatrapati awardee. Shubham, like many people are there, might have swam, like me. Today, when I see that, like to swim even 100 meters also, literally when we say in our language, the lungs comes out. Okay. And it's very difficult. I know that it's very difficult. and being as a you have a learning disability. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to highlight this. Shubham had a learning disability, like he was in the scoring only 32%. But after swimming and the right counseling and the well support from the parents, Shubham scored more than 70% in the 10th standard. Shubham, am I right?
Yeah. That's
More
right.
than 70%. So it is a message for every parents to identify the child, that not to discourage them if they are not good in something. Maybe there could be some problems, we need to identify that as a parent and bring back. And I really hats off to your parents, Shubham, who stood with you in all your ups and downs, as you rightly said. And
Right.
Shubham, I know that, swimming, daytime is more easy. But as you're saying that you have swam in the nighttime also for many hours.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, let me explain you something. Shubham were injured, his leg and the shoulder were injured, but yet he was swimming and he crossed the finishing line. And today that's the reason, he can hold the Indian flag, and a swimmer who crossed, English Channel and Gibraltar and Catalina and all things. Shubham, I would like to, ask you on the behalf of the viewers, many people want to go for it, but they don't understand the diet plan.
Right.
So could you
Right.
please highlight something in this diet plan also that will be well best from your end then?
It's usually very basic and very simple. We usually do a lot of changes, and as per the training schedule, as per how my body feels, and usually the body adapts to the food you eat, and slowly it stops working for you. So it all, I would say that you have to hire a professional if you want to attempt something like this. So when we do this swim, it's not only it's not only a swimmer doing it, only one person doing it. It's a massive team behind that one swimmer. So it's actually kind of a teamwork where my coach is involved mainly, and then the dietitian is involved, then physiotherapist is involved, psychologist is involved, and as well as the fitness experts are involved in bringing this together. And main people to bring this together are my parents. They are involved. So I would say that when it is with respect to the diet, it's always good to have a dietitian who knows your body well if you're going for something as professional as doing an open water swim. And what I personally eat is what suits my body type, which would be a lot of rice and basic Indian food, which is at home. But the quantity is always measured.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Shubham, concluding this, many youths wants to pursue and maybe dreaming where you are standing today. What
Right.
message would you like to give it to them?
So firstly, I would like to tell everybody that all the swims I do and all the swims I have done and will be doing in the future are all dedicated to kids who are suffering from mental health issues or suffering from learning disability. And all these swims are dedicated to them. And it's just to send out a message that if a kid like me can do it, you can also do it. So it's as simple as that. And I would like to tell all the athletes out there that the two things are there to remember. One thing is patience, because you will face a lot of things in this journey, and being patient is the most important thing throughout. And as well as to know the fact that your body is built to do things which your mind can't think of. They are built to do something extraordinary. Human beings are built to do something extraordinary in terms of physical also, like physical strength and everything. So as I said earlier also, as I spoke to you, that the human body can adapt to anything,
Okay.
absolutely anything. If you work towards it, it will adapt to it. For example, my body, it wasn't actually built for open water swimming or built for cold water swimming, but the constant practice and constant doing it again and again every single day made me what I am. So made my body adapt to what the sport is. So that these are the two things that athletes should keep in mind.
And thank you so much.
Shibu, can you hear me?
Uh,
Hello?
we'll give a opportunity to speak. So, we'll just finish up this. So we'll have
Okay, sure. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Shubham, we really appreciate, I think you're 24 years now.
Yeah.
And more milestone stones are there waiting for you. And our best wishes on behalf of Nehru Gymkhana and all the viewers. And we believe that, one day you're going to make India more proud. And I know that it is not going to be so easy journey. That a lot of hard work is there. Dedications are there. You need to be consistent in your performance. And so far you has come here. And we believe that you're going to go ahead and with all the determinations. And it's a great message, for everyone. On behalf of the viewers, I would like to thank you, because nothing is impossible when a person decides to do something, from the academical to your sports. And today you're a different person. I mean, because of your sport, you're a different person. And you are, a youth icon, I can say that, because swimming is really tough. You understand that. And thank you, Shubham, for your, sharing your experience with us. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my honor. Today in our midst, Shubham is there, and who is an international open sea swimmer champion. And he's also a Manhattan swimmer, a Gibraltar, and he is a Catalina Channel swimmer, you can say that. And now this is your moments for the audience to ask any questions, whatever you feel like. And Shubham is going to justify with this answer. Open to you all. Thank you so much.
Hi, Shubham, and hi, Shibu. This is Aishwarya Jiman from the gym.
Hi. Aishwarya, could you please just repeat? We couldn't able to hear you.
There must be some network issue.
Yeah, Aishwarya, are you there?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
I had few, or we all had, and what all the success scenarios where you have to fail. I mean, you failed, let's say. Then how did you deal with that?
Yeah, so after a certain point, you have to understand that failures are a part of your life. And because for me, I had to go through a lot of hurdles, and there were failure constantly as I was growing up, as I was before swimming also. So because of the challenges with the dyslexia and not knowing actually what I was going through for the longest time. So later on, I just dealt with the fact that it's just like a part of life, and you just move on. And yeah, that's pretty as simple as that.
Okay, and who was, I'm pretty sure parents are a constant inspiration. I mean, forever, always priority number one. But
Yes.
apart from them, who else would you like to note as an inspiration, whom you will remember forever?
Yeah, then the entire team comes, like my coach, Gokul sir, and then my dietitian Anuja ma'am, then psychologist Shubhangi ma'am, then physiotherapist Shweta ma'am, and all this team is because of them. This is possible because of them. My body can do what it is doing, and I can perform. So credit goes to them. It's a teamwork. It's not an individual work at all.
One last question, sorry. Any future plans or any insights you can give us as to what do you plan to do ahead?
Right. I would just say that it is going to be something that nobody has ever done before, and we are preparing towards it. And the only disclosure I can give is that it's going to be a record attempt. Can you hear me?
Shubham, carry on.
Yeah. So I was saying that it's basically going to be a record attempt, and that's all the disclosure I can give. We are working towards it. It was going to happen this year, but due to the pandemic, we are going to shift it to the next year.
Wow. So further
Okay.
we can ask.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From audience, we can ask more questions, please. This is your time.
Hello. Shubham, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hi, this is Rajesh here. Yeah. Congratulations to you and Shibu for holding this webinar.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations to you, and feeling proud to hear both you in conversation during this meet. I'm feeling proud that you have achieved a lot and made your family, all your well-known, and the country proud. But I wish
Thank you.
one thing. I would like to know one thing from you. The audio I think very poor. That what would the message would you give to younger kids to
Sorry,
take up swimming or
can
to
you come
take up
again?
sports?
Okay, okay,
What will be a message to the younger generation, younger kids?
right.
Because you see nowadays people are more interested only in the mobile and all. So
Yeah.
what would be a message then?
I would say that take it up more looking.
Sorry, just excuse me, just let me correct. Because the reason
Yeah, yeah.
behind this, I would, because there are many parents here also on this webinar. So this to motivate them to encourage their kids to go towards sports.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, yeah. So basically it was because of my father, because he knew the fact that sport can develop a person's personality, and it can help us athlete or a normal boy also in various parts in life. So I would personally say that to all the kids out there, do it because you love to do it. Don't look at it as a source, like as something which is gonna give you back something. It will definitely give you back something, and it will give you back an important lesson in life. So having a sport in life is really important from the early age, because it kind of becomes like a support system for you after a certain point. And to realize this at a young age is going to be really helpful to you towards the long run in life.
Congratulations to you, and all the best to you for your future.
Thank you.
Hello.
आपके उधर ही है सिक्योरिटी में क्या?
Yeah, I just want to have a question. I just want to ask a question.
Yeah, yeah. Hi.
I just want to know your achievements and your experiences were really encouraging. I just want to know, after doing all such, is there any financial aspect into this after swimming? Being a international swimmer and all. So can you just put light onto this?
Yeah. So there is nothing monetary you get out of the open water swimming as such. Like, yes, there are monetary benefits for a award like Shiv Chhatrapati Award, and but there is no as such like equivalent to what you spend in such swims. So I would can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, so there is no such monetary benefits, but it's an honor to be able to do such things. It's kind of, I would say, to push a body to a limit where you can spread this spread this story out there. And personally, I do it because it gives me a platform to spread awareness about learning disability, and to spread out a message out for the kids and every other parent out there. So this is my motive to do this swims, and all I get out of it is the satisfaction of me spreading that message to more audience and help more people out. And this is not exactly my bread and butter at the end of the day. And so yeah, I don't look at the monetary benefits from open water swimming.
Yeah, it's like more matter of pride, rather monetary thing.
Yes, yes.
International personality, you can hold the Indian flag tricolor. That's a big achievement. Thank you very much.
Yes, exactly.
Hello. Yeah, good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening.
I'm Abhilipsa, and I play lawn tennis in Nerul Gymkhana. So means when I play the match, when I'm on court, like when I want to hit, and so I get angry and I lose my control. So I lose it so bad that I almost lose the match. So in that case, it must have happened with you that when you get very angry, you do in that situation. Your advice in that.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, Shubham, please continue.
Yeah. So it does happen to me, and it used to happen quite often at an early age, and that's when the sports psychologist really helped me. Where, like I said, during the State of Gibraltar swim, like I have practiced for years this method of using your anger in a constructive way and channelizing those energy into something which is helpful towards you. But this doesn't happen overnight. It's something like, if I say today, you won't be able to do it tomorrow, but you have to practice this for years in order to master this. But when you master this, then it really works in your favor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any more questions are there, so we can ask?
Shibu, can I speak?
Please, sir, please.
Shibu,
Yes, sir.
hi Shubham, Vikas Shetty here.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Acha, really proud to have amongst us today. I know, I just want to ask you one thing. You really swim for really 10 to 14 hours. So, what thought process goes in your mind? See, normally in other sports, there's cricket or football, the audience is there, other players are there, but you're alone here down. And what you think, what thought process goes in your mind? And secondly, what makes you happy to do this open swimming? What enjoyment you get in this?
Right. So I'll answer the first part of your question.
Yeah.
About the thought process is that so like I was sharing this with Shibu sir the other day also. Like I also had ADHD, so it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. But it kind of works in my favor during such swims, because when I am swimming, imagine if you're swimming for such a long hour, like 12 hours, and if you start to experience every second pass by, it will be an absolute nightmare if you could sense every second pass by. But when I am swimming, I start the swim and my brain is somewhere else. I am thinking of something. It's just about keeping up the rhythm. I am singing my song, and I'm watching on the boat, like I'm looking at the boat and there are people talking to each other. Then I'm making up stories in my head, what they must be talking about. And these are very small things which goes on throughout the entire swim. But towards the end, then it kind of becomes a very robotic motion where your body just keeps on moving, and you just realize you come back to your senses after every hour during the feed. So I think I would say what I personally have experienced is after 4 hours, the body completely goes in a trance. And then you wake up every hour. You wake up every time you are supposed to feed. And then that's when the mind is completely blank and it feels like you just woke up from a sleep. That happens with me. And this is with most of the open water swimmer. And so that's the answer for the first question. And the second question is that there are a lot of beautiful moments during these swims, and you experience something which a normal person doesn't get to experience in the day-to-day life. For example, you often, when you are in New York, you pay for the water taxi to see around the Manhattan. I was swimming in that river, and I got that entire view of Manhattan while swimming it, right from Statue of Liberty through every single bridge. I think there are, I don't know how many bridges there were, but there were a lot of bridges. And I was swimming under each and every bridge. And for example, like Catalina Channel, when I was swimming the Catalina Channel, the swim is a night swim. And after after you cross the Catalina Island, the water was little quiet for the starting bit of the swim. And then I got to see a visual that it was a pitch dark. It was like 10 p.m. at night. We started the swim, so it must be around 12 midnight. And the lights are off. Multiple reasons, the sharks and all, multiple reasons, the boat lights are off. And I have a glow stick on my head. But what I can see from the water is that there's a boat with glow sticks all around the boat. It's designed very beautifully, and it's pitch dark water, and there is a boat on it, and there is a moonlight from up, and as well as there were bioluminescent creatures underneath, while like bioluminescent lights like planktons, And that was one of the moments I would never forget in my life. And that was one of the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. And this is not what everybody gets to experience. So this is another reason why I do open water swimming.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a very rare experience, Shubham.
Yeah.
And all the best for your future.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
We can have one more question. If anybody have a question, so you can ask Shubham. And then afterwards, we'll be just concluding this.
Hello. Am I audible?
Very much, ma'am.
Yes. Hi. So I just had a couple of questions. Like, how does he actually, when you get anxious or you panic during your swim, then how do you handle the situation and regain your focus? Because usually in other sport, it is very much easy for an athlete to focus on your breath and then just calm yourself down. But when you're swimming, what do you do then?
So as I've been swimming for so long that it's become my body's second nature in the water. So like an athlete to just stand in the water is like for me to an athlete to stand on the land while playing is for me to be floating in the water.
Mhm.
And when I go through something like this, it's very important for your brain to be very positive from the start of the swim and accept what comes in front of you. So the acceptance is actually the key during these swims, because during swimming the English Channel, I was being told that after 2 hours the weather will be good, and it got worse during the entire swim. And around 5 to 6 hours in, both the legs were not working because I got hit by a propeller on my right leg, and my left leg was the hamstring was ruptured, so my legs were dragging. And at this point, all you can think of how do you complete the swim, and all I can think what I do is I think of the factors which are within my control, which I can work on, rather than factors which are beyond my control. And this was also taught to me by Shubhangi ma'am. And so when you practice this for so long, it becomes the second nature of your body. And that's what my mind is at during the swims.
All right. And I had one more thing to ask. Do you have like a post-performance routine that you follow? Like, do you do PMR or something of that sort? Or is it?
Yeah. So my post-performance, post every event, there is a complete, like, first of all, my body is completely destroyed after a swim. And there has not been a single swim after which my body has not faced the repercussions. And so I go to my diet changes, my dietitian changes my diet as per the settling down. Then my training process changes. I go on a complete taper. Then my psychologist suggested me that to completely stay off that zone for a while. And as well as my physiotherapist does a lot of sessions on me, and a lot of massages and a lot of needling and a lot of rehab work, and a lot of time goes in that after the swim.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
If one more question is there, we can proceed. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Can I join in back? Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Can I join in back?
Yes.
You're audible, sir.
Question: how do you keep yourself motivated? One of my questions, motivated in the sense for, because yours is a long, enduring swim. So to keep yourself motivated, both mental and physically, before and after, before the swim, is what I want to know.
You want to know before the swim and hello?
Yes. How do you train yourself, motivate yourself before a long swim?
So it's very easy
What the rigorous exercise you do to keep yourself more physically and mentally fit?
Yeah. So it's actually very easy for me to be motivated if I know why I'm doing it. So if my why is I know the answer to my why, that why am I doing this swim and what is the reason behind me doing this swim, then my motivation is constant throughout the swim. There is no looking back. And the exercises are basically a lot of meditation happens during the training sessions and before the training sessions, after the training sessions, before the swims, after the swims. And yes, my why for the swims are usually my motivations for all my swims.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Before we conclude, I would like to give it to Kiran Stanley, sir, for the word of thanks. Kiran, sir, over to you, sir. Sir, can you just unmute your audio, please, sir? Kiran, sir, can you just unmute your audio?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Shubhu. Good evening, friends. I'm Kiran Stanley. On behalf of Nehru Gymkhana, I thank today's guest speaker, our very own Shubham Vanmali, an international open water swimmer and a Shiv Chhatrapati awardee, who shared with us his very exciting achievements. I'm sure he has inspired and motivated all of us who attended this session. I thank our host, Mr. Shibu Varghese, for conducting this webinar in his own settled style. I also am thankful to the trustees, the managing committee, the staff of Nehru Gymkhana, and special thanks to the online activity team who worked hard to make this webinar possible. Last but not the least, I would like to thank each and every participant who attended this session. And I hope next week again we'll bring to you another celebrity speaker. Till then, take care, be safe, and God bless you all. Thank you, Shibu.
Okay.
Thank you, Kiran. Thank you, Shibu.
Thanks.
Shubham, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shubham.
Thanks.
Stay blessed and have a wonderful weekend. And God bless you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thanks a lot.